Thousands of people have model trains in their homes, whether it be in their den, in their playroom. But did you ever think about putting a model train outside? It's a big trend in gardening right now, and today I'm going to show you how it works. We're thinking big today. We have a professional here, Michael O'Keefe.
Hello, Glenn.
Aquatic Landscapes. You also put in the water garden, and you do some train work as well.
That's right. We've been fortunate that LGB of America has provided us with a weatherproof garden railroad that we're going to install just like the real thing. We're going to put in bridges, gravel base, some boulders. It's going to be wonderful.
We're mapping out our area now, 10 feet by 18 feet. We want a clean slate. We're going to remove all the grass, all the roots, and we're going to do it with the sod cutter. All right, Michael, we've cleared out the area. And now we want to lay down the track, sort of test fit to make sure everything's going to be laid out the way we'd like it to be.
We also want to make sure we have all the pieces so that our plan comes together in an orderly fashion.
Now this track is pretty sturdy. It's got plastic underneath, and then these are brass.
That's correct. And because
Actual
it's
rails.
brass, we're not going to tack or glue this track down permanently. We want it to float on its own ballast base.
All right, we snapped the last piece in, and now we're ready to set up our foundation. Probably the most important part to this project. If you don't have a good foundation, you don't have a good drainage, and your track could be washed away.
That's correct. You can see we've got a really tight grade here. We're nice and level on this side. We need to build this up. The best product to use to build it up would be this chop rock we've got here.
Yeah, we got it pre-cut.
We got it pre-cut, had it hauled in. We just lift these tracks up here, and we'll just set them underneath like so. Very simple process, works real well. We can adjust it as we go along.
Yeah, and our base is going to be made up of these rocks and gravel.
That's right. The gravel will fill in all the voids underneath here.
We're not just using a few rocks, we're using a whole bunch of rocks, and there are some cases, even though we brought in some dirt, where we have to do some excavating and still do some digging to fit the rocks in. We got to make sure this track is level and straight.
That's right. Because we have such a grade to deal with here, these rocks are fairly uniform. We want to make sure they fit just right.
Oh yeah.
Just put a couple on top of there. There we go, a nice tight fit. Also keep in mind, we're going to have a lot of extra materials laying around the job site. Whenever you see a slight imperfection in the track, you can use a thin piece like this as a nice shim, slip it up underneath there like so. Nice tight fit.
We could use a number of types of gravel. We're using decomposed granite for this job, Michael.
Yeah, this is a really good product. Because of all the sharp edges and the different sizes that are involved here, it packs in real well. We go to wash that in, it's going to be great. Also, you'll notice we're putting down what we call a moss stone boulder as a nice edging, and that'll help hold our gravel in place and give it a nice texture.
We've used about a half a yard of gravel for this job. That's about 4 barrels full, and now we're doing the touch-up work, Michael.
That's right. It's real important that we clean the gravel out of the tracks, and as you see, the more you brush, the more you start to kick up these larger diameter pieces, which work really well when you go to brush them down. It makes a nice erosion effect down here in the rocks.
Nice fill in there.
And then we'll come in with our garden hose, a little bit of water here, and we'll wash that in nice. And the more we wash it in, the better it'll pack. It'll hold the track in place. If we get any little spots like this, we'll just come back in and add a little bit more.
Day 2 of our garden train install. Most of it is done, at least the big part of it, putting the bed in. We had some rain last night, and the drainage system worked.
It worked real well. Also, the moisture was really good for setting our compact base, making sure that it's nice and solid. All we have to do now is hook up the electrical.
Yeah, we got to get some power to this, and we actually have to change the voltage going into the system.
That's right. We have a low voltage transformer here that takes the 110 volt power from the house, which we have connected here for our water garden, and reduces it down to a safe level so we can use it on our control station here. We'll just bury this wire a couple inches down in the ground.
Yeah, we just dug this trench with the old sharpshooter.
That's right, and then these are real easy to connect. We have our little house here, push in on that. Now that we've connected this power source, we connect our track clips, which bring power to the track.
Okay, why don't you put those on the track? I'll connect them to our...
There's one for each side. We'll just lift up our track here, tuck that underneath, and these conveniently clip on and just screw right in spot. Once these are connected up, we're ready to start operating trains.
Now, before we lay our train on the track, comes the fun part here. Remember, this is a railroad garden, so we have to add some vegetation.
That's right. We're going to put these tall plants in the back.
And we're using evergreens.
That's right.
And you're right, we gotta get the tall ones in the back, the short ones up front. These are great to use, Michael, because they're so easy to prune and maintain. They're a small size.
Not to mention, if you'd like to, you can add some seasonal color.
Oh yeah, some flowering plants would be great.
You bet.
We've got all different varieties of evergreens here. We're also gonna add some buildings to
That's
our
right.
railroad layout. We're gonna add a depot. We're gonna add a water tower. We're
Little
gonna,
people.
Yeah, little people and even some little horses as well.
Got to do it right.
I envision a really good look.
It's going to be beautiful.
Our buildings are in place, the vegetation looks great. I'm just adding some mulch to beautify the garden, and wow, it just looks wonderful, Michael.
Yeah, and as you can see, we put in a beautiful mountain range using our moss boulders. We're ready to rock.
Yeah, we are. All we gotta do is start up that train. All aboard. Let's get it going. There it is, your garden train, and watch how well it takes the curves. That's because we made them nice and large so the train can perform better. Now this setup is pretty elaborate. It's G-scale, cost around $4,000 for the supplies and installation. But for you, the best part is you can start small, it'll cost you a lot less, and the whole family can get involved, get on board with this project. And with all the new additions you'll dream up along the way, you can enjoy this train for years to come.